Welcome back. We've been talking about this for months. If the United States builds a wall or a fence between the U.S. and Mexico, Mexico says it's going to go all the way to the United Nations to say, foul, can't do that.
Yeah, only problem is it's an American problem. But Francisco Hernandez is a U.S.-Mexico immigration attorney. He joins us now from Fort Worth, Texas. Good to see you, Francisco. So let's talk about that.
Good morning, Steve and Gretchen.
The fact that Mexico now wants to go to the UN, is this not an American problem, or does it have international ramifications?
Well, the first problem is that it really is an issue that the neighbors ought to settle. Why would we have to go to a third party?
Good point.
The second issue is not really Mexico that's going to the UN. It was an offhand comment by Luis Ernesto Derbez, the Foreign Relations Secretary, who is with the outgoing President Fox. So Felipe Calderón, the incoming president-elect, does not agree. He thinks we should resolve our issues among the neighbors locally and start the dialogue between the two countries.
That's right. And yet it's just puzzling for Francisco, and it bugs a lot of Americans to think that even though it is part of the outgoing administration down in Mexico, that they are so steamed at us, they're going to take it essentially to the higher authority. I'm going to take this to your supervisor, the United Nations, which is just nuts. It just makes people really unhappy in this country.
But, Steve, really, let's think about this. The United States, we go to the UN looking for support in Iraq, in Afghanistan, with North Korea. With any issue that we want to garner international support, we go to the UN, and we created the UN. So why does it have to offend us when someone else goes to the UN to appeal to them on one of our international issues?
Because this is not an international issue. A lot of people don't believe that this is an international issue. This is America's problem, and America can make the decision about whether or not they want Mexicans coming into our country illegally. Russia and China shouldn't care about that.
And they probably don't care. But let's think about this. We have been going to the UN since it was created to determine border disputes with a lot of other countries. What if, and this is just what if the UN came in and did an analysis of the border and found that the border was really only 10 miles off? 10 miles off to the north or 10 miles off to the south. How would that change the politics of the whole issue here in the United States, whether there's a wall or not?
Well, then they would redraw the border. But the point is, Francisco, that we are a sovereign nation, and as a sovereign nation, we have the right to say where to put up some sort of a wall if we wanted, just to keep our country safe. Now, because you're an attorney, let me ask you this. Do you think that Mexico has any jurisdiction in this?
Well, and that's the whole issue, whether the UN has any jurisdiction. If the border is where it is, no, it doesn't have any jurisdiction.
That's right.
But really, Steve, the whole issue is moot because, as we already know, Congress changed the funding mechanism for the wall last week anyway, which gives the president discretion to use it for other security and border measures. They have nothing to do with the wall. So, in my opinion, I don't think we'll ever see the wall built.
So this foreign secretary that you were talking about, who used to work for Vicente Fox, he also was quoted as saying what should be constructed is a bridge in relations between the two countries. Is that not the inherent problem in this entire discussion, that somebody believes that we could actually have this bridge of relationships and not have to put up a fence? Of course they want a bridge in relationships because they want their illegal immigrants to continue to come into America.
Well, Gretchen, and that's not actually correct. Nobody wants illegal immigration. Nobody wants people coming illegally. In the first place, it's dangerous.
Yeah, Mexico wants it, though, because the people are going to send home the money, and that helps Mexico's economy.
Oh, but Gretchen, we've been giving those people jobs for decades and decades. We want them too. Let's just speak honestly about it. But the point of the matter is, if you want to look at a national security issue, it is a national security issue for us not to know who these people are. And everybody that wants the wall opposes registering all these folks so we can at least have their fingerprints and their eye scans or their identity confirmed. So we can talk about that we don't want these folks coming over. But first of all, we keep giving the jobs to build our roads, to build our houses, to wash our dishes, to make our beds. And quite frankly, we want them going to our universities as well.
And a lot of those people are your clients, right?
They are clients, and we work to legalize them when we can. That is correct. The problem is there is no legal process for just average Joe that wants to come here and seek the American dream, the American life, to come here legally. Most folks don't understand it. There is no line for them to get in.
Well, there is a line, but it's hard to get in the line when you're in this country illegally, as you know, and that's what you practice every day down there in the Fort Worth area. Francisco Hernandez, we thank you so much for joining us live today.
Thank you very much, Steve and Gretchen.